injury. He's been diligent. He was cleared ahead of time by the surgeon, and I think a lot of that has to do with our training staff. A lot of that has to do with Keon's, just the way he works, and the way he has worked and trying to overcome that injury. But I was really proud of everybody, the guys that played, the guys that didn't play, the energy on the bench, and hopefully we can continue to play this way and build on it.
What does Keontae bring you?
Keontae brings a bona fide, proven defensive presence where, you know, my high school coach used to talk about trying to be your opponent's worst nightmare. And when Keon Kennedy's locked in defensively, which he is all the time, he really bothers the opponent out there a lot. He's got great lateral movement. He has quick hands. He's a phenomenal rebounder. And you know, he didn't have a normal shooting night tonight, but he's a great shooter as well.
Keontae seemed to really bring a swag to the court and kind of light a fire under his teammates. Is that fair to say?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, we talked about it as a staff. He came back from the doctor on Thursday, and they said, look, he's cleared, but he's got to have several practices of contact. He came in Thursday, so focused, so determined. He had a great practice, and we knew right there he was going to be in the starting lineup.
How do you quantify the injection of life that he gave you guys tonight?
Energy is such a huge part of sports. Phil Jackson used to always talk about how important it is to always play with energy. And I really felt that Keontae Kennedy's energy it uplifted the team, it impacted the team, and it helped us get this win tonight. I was proud of Jaylen Tyson. You know, Jaylen Tyson's the guy who can score at a high level, he can pass at a high level, he can see over the defense. He did a really nice job, especially in that last stretch of the game, with some passes, some decision making, and that was great to see. Fardas, I can't say enough about Fardas. It doesn't always show up in the stat sheet, but he just controlled that paint. He controlled the middle against a very physical Santa Clara team.
Jaylen Tyson, 7 straight points, like you said, when you got a little closer at the end. He kind of did the same thing in San Diego State game, where to get the game to overtime, where he basically just enters a takeover mode. Yeah. What do you do as a coach when you kind of see that shift transition from him to really just basically try to take over the game?
Well, when we see that, we try to put the ball in his hands more. When any player, and tonight it was Jaylen Tyson, and we've seen that look before from Jaylen Tyson, where it's a look of focus, determination, and a look of, I'm going to impose my will. We definitely try to find ways to put the ball in his hands, because not only is he a great scorer, but he's a very, very good passer. And he really takes pride, Jaylen Tyson, in making his teammates better.
And Tyson got a lot of tough buckets too, some tips and a lot of traffic, some drives where he just didn't have a lot of room to operate and he was able to get it in there. How critical is it to be able to make those tougher to convert shots rather than just the open ones that come to you in the natural flow of the game?
Jaylen has great size, he has great physicality, but he also has a huge heart. And so he can get into that lane and elevate over people with his size and his length and his competitiveness and put some of those shots in. In the Big 12 last year, there was a time when he was one of the top rebounders in the conference at any position from a defensive rebounding standpoint. And so, you know, he plays with great physicality out there. Grant Newell, I thought, had just a game-changing play where there was a loose ball on the floor, and Grant Newell just dove on the ball, corralled it, and off the look at the film, he either flipped it to one of our players or they called a foul, and they awarded us the ball. I'll have to go back and look, but that was a game-changing play of momentum from Grant Newell. Those hustle plays were huge.
And Jaylen Coenen had his best game of the year shooting-wise, and it looked like it was much more in rhythm rather than kind of off-balance forced shots when he felt like he needed to take the team on his shoulders earlier in the season. Is that where he's at his best?
Yeah, 100%. I thought that you know, Jaylen Coenen is someone who's always in the gym. He's always watching film, and I thought his shot selection tonight was A+. It was just A+. And he's a guy who can change a game with his ability to stretch the floor and with his ability to knock down shots.
Coach, only 8 turnovers tonight and a positive assist to turnover ratio. What are some of the adjustments that went into tonight?
You know, we've been emphasizing this, and you know, if you look at the San Diego State overtime game, we had 14. Before that, we were kind of averaging 19 turnovers. And so we really challenged the guys last week, hey, let's get our turnovers down. We saw growth from kind of those 3 prior games to San Diego State. It came down, and then we took another step tonight. That's going to be a huge key for us this year, is being able to take care of the basketball. We have only 1 turnover in the first half, and so I was really happy about that.
Mark, you play at Butler on Saturday. Can you talk about what you expect there? Have you ever been there and played in a game there?
No, I've never been there, never played in a game there. Obviously, we're familiar with their team. We studied film. They have tremendous physicality. They have some perimeter players that are 240 pounds that can shoot and make threes. It's impressive the job that they've done. Number one, it's impressive how they play from an X's and O's standpoint. And then number two, their personnel is physical. Their personnel is very talented. And so this is going to be a battle, and we've got a full week to prepare. And
They still play in the old field house? Do you know?
That's a question for this man right here.
What was the question in here?
Does Butler still play in the old field house?
I haven't been there either.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think they play in a field house named Hinkle.
Hinkle.
Right,
So,
yeah,
Yeah, I think they do.
yeah.
That's a question I'm not sure on. Yeah.
Okay.
Coach, 8-player rotation tonight. You're still obviously missing a couple key pieces. Where do you foresee the rotation going once you get a couple of these players back? Solidifying on that 7 or 8-player rotation?
Yeah, we'll kind of, the rotation and who plays, it always works itself out. It always works itself out. And what we tell our players is, when your name is called, be ready. And, unfortunately, we've had some injuries and guys have stepped up. Guys have grown, guys have gotten better. And there's been opportunity for players to improve their own personal game. And so this is only going to help us. Obviously, some guys were thrust into roles that, maybe in the summer we weren't anticipating. But all that experience is going to help us in the long term.
Rodney Brown seems to be taking a step every game. Any comments on Rodney Brown?
Rodney had a stretch in the first half where he was getting every loose ball. He was finishing at the other end. Rodney Brown has a tremendous feel for the game. He can shoot it. He's a great passer, and he has the length to go in there and finish over bigger opponents.
All right, Coach.
Yeah, guys, thanks so much.